All right, we're back live at the PGA Show here in Orlando, Florida, joined by a really cool golf fitness guru that I just started following, Golf Digest Top 50, creator of Metabolic Golf as well, too, here to get into everything regarding golf and fitness. It's Ally Gilbert joining us on the Course of Life. Ally, how you doing today?
Hi, how are you?
Doing
Thank
very
you for
well.
having me.
Yeah, it's good to see you just got in. Thoughts on the PGA Show? I know you've got a presentation here later today. Give us and our audience a little taste of what your presentation is going to look like to the PGA Show audience here.
So I'm speaking on the Titleist Performance Institute stage at 11:30, and this is my first one since 2019.
Okay.
Seems like forever because actually 2020 I got sick with some mystery virus. It was a mystery at the time.
Right.
They're like, "Don't fly. We don't know what you have." I was like, "All right."
Early adapter there.
Yeah,
Right.
I missed that year's show, but my specialty is testosterone, and which is funny because I got into men's health through golf fitness because I trained all guys. And you soon realize guys don't go to the doctor ever unless it's a dire emergency.
Yep. I just got my first physical in several years. I'm guilty. There I
yeah,
am.
you
I'm
guys
part
are
of this.
horrible. So no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But that's how I landed in the men's health arena, and so that's been my niche, so to speak, for the last 8 or so years. So that's what I'll be talking about, is how to optimize testosterone through nutrition and training and not be scared of testosterone replacement therapy, which many guys are because there's many stigmas surrounding that. So.
Okay, got it. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that. Well, let's first just talk about the golf and fitness kind of evolution that obviously you and I have all seen. I look back to the golf I watched in the 90s and what the golfers look like then versus what they look like now. It's like night and day on any tour you look at. Just tell me about how you came into contact with that and what you see daily when you train, and the evolution of also golfers who want to be more fit as well.
Oh my God, it's so funny because ever since Tiger in 95, it started to gain more popularity. And I first got certified in golf fitness in 2008, so it's been a while. So I have seen the change and the influx in guys who do want to get more fit and they do want to hit the ball farther. And the funny thing is I always found that the conversation always came back around to, well, kind of want to see my abs a little bit. Like, how do I get rid of this? How do I get rid of this? And I was like, this is interesting because a lot of guys will front with golf fitness, but it really just means I want to look good naked. And I was like, okay, cool. So obviously that has changed the way that they view themselves on the course. And they didn't want to be wearing extra large or extra large shirts to hide any fat in their chest that all of a sudden started appearing. They actually wanted to look like the shirt was fitted. Kind of like the Euro Puma, how it fits really nicely. So then that was a real eye-opening experience to be able to address nutrition and aesthetics in golf fitness for these guys. And so they loved the gains, so to speak, but also lifting for golf is very similar to any other sport. And then the byproduct is just looking good if you actually train hard and address your nutrition and stuff like that.
Yeah, very well said. No, yeah. So in terms of your background in working with golfers specifically, when did that all happen and come to fruition from a business standpoint for you?
So when I graduated college, we won't say when, I was like any other person who majored in strength and conditioning. I want to work with athletes. We all do. And it's just such a saturated, weird market. And so I grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut, where there's 9 golf clubs.
Yes.
All these golfers were coming in at the gym that I was working at. And I was like, they take training really seriously and they can afford to train, unlike a lot of athletes or professional athletes. So I was like, this is interesting. This is a niche I want to do. Never played golf. I played soccer in college. So I was like, this is a whole new world. So I started bartering with golf professionals locally. So I think I've trained everyone in the Met section.
Yep.
And
that's how you learn the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I learned. And I was like, this is really fun because they're hyper-focused. They take it very seriously. They train with a purpose for this sport. So that was like, I'm going to specialize in golf fitness. And I found TPI in 2008. Here we are many years later. And since then, I've been working with many guys and focusing on their health from that aspect. So it's a great niche to land in. I've met a lot of awesome people. So I love it.
Love it. Again, Ally Gilbert joining us. Check out her website, Instagram. Love following along and seeing the fitness content. And I love seeing what you do with your students as well, too. So talk about what you're currently doing now with students, the build-up you put them through. I see you put them through the ringer sometime, too.
Yes, I do.
What's that mix like?
So after over about 20 years of in-person training, I now do everything online. So I was doing this before COVID, so it wasn't because of COVID, but I found that I can get people a lot better results because I have control over more variables. So when you meet somebody in person for training, obviously it serves a purpose. They become proficient in the technical aspect of lifting.
Okay.
But you can't really handle the nutrition. You can't handle their sleep and stress and all this stuff unless you do that outside. So remotely, I can work with people from all over the world.
Everyone, you out there right now.
You guys, yeah, I'm not scary. People have named me the queen of men's health, which I take very seriously.
No, that's a cool title. I like
and
that.
so I can do nutrition and training over the internet, and it's amazing. It's not live, but coaching where I provide programs, people do them wherever. If you have a basement, if you have a commercial gym to work out at, wherever. And yeah, that's what we do. And then we talk about testosterone replacement. I have a network of providers that are competent, great medical professionals that I can introduce guys to.
That's nice. Okay.
When they're not sure who to go to because they don't like going to the doctor.
And you're kind of being that intermediary resource. It takes a little bit of the burden and the stigma of them doing it. I feel like
Absolutely, because I'm not the wife who's yelling and nagging for you to go. I'm also a female who's understanding that a lot of the issues guys experience are common, even though they may not be normal. But you still can be 28, 29, even younger, and experiencing erection issues, or you have low T. That used to not be a thing. And guys are like, I'm too young for that. Like, I should be 70. And it's actually really common in younger guys. So I serve as kind of like that bridge of, no, go talk to this guy. You won't have to go to anybody else. You won't have to wait in a waiting room. You'll get your answers to all the questions, and you'll be actually taken care of.
Love it. And for those out there who don't want to ask the really basic question, let's just walk through testosterone, what it is. So out there, I know the term vaguely, but how guys and golfers out there of all likes can understand what their T level means for not only their wellness, but their golf as well, too. Just to explain what that means.
So testosterone is the hormone that makes a man a man. So women have testosterone just like men have estrogen. But it is responsible for that drive in life, for cognition, for feeling motivated and just wanting to win. Men want to win. You guys want to solve problems. You're competitive, all of that stuff. As that starts to decline, guys tend to feel less zest for life, less motivation. They're just like, you know what, my job or my family really used to motivate me. Now I'm kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, it can wait. Yeah, maybe next year.
Exactly. Yeah. Or they really feel like their energy in the gym is not what it used to be, and their energy in all areas of life, and it could be performance in the bedroom. Most guys think, well, my penis still works, therefore I must not have low T.
Sure, yeah.
But that's only a small part of that.
There's more to it. Okay.
No pun intended. But that is only literally it's multifactorial. Yeah. So addressing all aspects of that, because that is part of your health. Optimal testosterone will put you at a low risk of a cardiovascular event, of cancer, of all these things that usually are the opposite in the media. It does not cause cancer. It does not cause heart attacks. All of that has been refuted. It's one of the scary things that a lot of general practitioner doctors still talk about, just because that's not their area of expertise.
Yeah, and for me, just being the patient, if that cloud gets thrown over you, everyone starts to get a little nervous. Cover for the storm, right? Yeah.
I'm not going to go ask one of the golf pros here, hey, can you teach me swimming?
Yeah.
That's not their scope of practice. So the same with the general practitioner. They don't have time, in their defense, they don't have time to do all the researching and educate themselves on the latest testosterone research. Leave that to the guys who are dealing with hormone replacement every day. So I'm not saying anything negative about GPs. They have a time and place, but don't go to your GP for HRT. Hormone replacement.
Very cool. Well said. Yeah. And the other piece of this as well, too, is your concept of metabolic golf. And now the other side is metabolism in the game. So just kind of walk through metabolic golf, just first the name and the meaning and how it came to be.
So that, oh man, I think it was 2015. My original name was Golfers Who Lift. And I realized that was better off as a hashtag. So I was like, you know what? And I still use it. I still own the domain. If you want it, I'll sell it to you.
Okay, all right, noted.
$100,000. So I was like, golf actually encompasses so many different things, as we all think about, the teaching aspect of the game, the fitness, the psychology, the equipment. What about the health? Health, metabolism, nutrition, fitness, all of those things. I was like, Metabolic Golf sounds cool. So I bought that domain, and that has since transitioned into Ali Gilbert Coaching, which is kind of the umbrella. Metabolic Golf is my, I don't want to say proprietary, but it kind of is like my approach to how I would train a golfer, which encompasses all of those things,
Right.
from health. Specifically, mostly the men's health aspect of testosterone and TRT and stuff like that.
Okay, very cool. All right, I love that. Now that we got that out of the way, we got to get to the important part here. A little selfishly, I need to talk about my diet, what I'm doing right now, and I want you to give me honest feedback about what's good and what's not about it. So this is going to air after the fact, but I'm at the end of that dry January. That's very common out there.
Yes.
It's becoming a much trendier thing over the years. I'm doing that with my workouts, but I'm also doing a very low carb diet. Now, you talk a lot about carbs and how they affect exercise and metabolism. So knowing that I'm doing a diet, it's extremely low carb. It's dry January, but it's very low carb. What is that doing for me, and what is it not doing for me?
That's a great question to ask about what is it, isn't it? So your brain runs on glucose, as do the testicles. So I always say, if you want your brain and if you want your balls to work,
Okay,
we need some glucose.
I'm decently interested in those two working. Yeah.
If it's just one or the other, you can stay low carb. But generally, the low carb craze has come from where you can lose weight dropping carbs overnight, because carbs make you hold water. And
Okay. Yep.
with every gram of carbohydrate we eat, we bring up to 3 grams of water. So if you drink 8 ounces of water, you're going to weigh more if you step on the scale than if you weighed yourself before drinking water. So that's where people flip out when they see the scale go up overnight. You can't gain body fat that quickly. And if you do the math of how many calories somebody ate, it's very unlikely that they gained body fat in an 8-hour period. So low carb can deprive you of energy. It can deprive you of optimal thyroid hormone, which is the master metabolism hormone. It can deprive you of testosterone, because your body's like, I have no energy to work off of. So I'm not going to keep my body in a state where it's healthy to procreate. Why would I procreate if I feel like I'm losing energy? So it's great for somebody who's very sedentary and does not do a lot of activity. But if you're going to be playing golf, or if you're going to be in the gym, I would suggest finding the appropriate amount of carbs that you can tolerate are going to benefit you over the long term. Most of my clients are on moderate to high carb diets that are very active.
Okay.
If you have diabetes and if you have glucose issues or blood sugar issues, obviously that's a different approach. But for the general men tend to do very well on carbs. And my clients tend to have wars with each other on Instagram, tagging each other on who's at the highest carb amount at what meal.
Oh, wow.
So my highest guy right now is over 600 grams. And my lowest, I have him at 50 to 75.
Okay.
And then there's a lot in between. I have guys in the 400s, 500s, all that stuff. But they all started at like 100. And they felt awful. And they looked, in their mind, awful. And so now they are all ridiculously shredded.
Okay.
They feel amazing. Like, all of these good things happen.
That's the balance I'm presenting. So I'm a good sample size because I'm just, that average body type and shape. I work out 3 to 4 times a week. It's mostly cardio. I play enough active golf to stay in decent shape. So for myself, what sort of carb level would I be looking to reintroduce, and why can I essentially scratch that low carb knowing I'm exercising that much,
So it's very contextual, but I'm not going to be like, it depends, know? So I would say if you start, like, say you're at 0, if you started at maybe 50 grams of white rice or something that you like that's also easily digestible after your workout, that's the best place to put it, because your body is most likely to take that and shove it in the muscle to refuel. Then if that feels good, over time, you start to add a little bit more. Maybe we go from 50 to 75. And then maybe we go from just post-workout to pre-workout. And then maybe we go to bedtime, because they do help you sleep. So then all of a sudden the structure builds up and you start to feel a certain way. Now,
it's funny, that 2-mile run is a lot harder on a low carb diet, man.
Oh my God.
It's like night and day.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
That's misery.
Yeah, I know. It's ending. It's ending very soon, trust me. And now that I've had this conversation, I know how to go about it correctly. And that's the thing that really people need to learn, because, you hear these things, but you don't always interact with the professional and get the professional feedback. So that's the segue too. So tell me about how the online coaching works from maybe a fitness metabolism standpoint, just golf and gym aside, just getting the wellness part better, what you put in your body.
So I always I'm very direct. Like I am very honest.
I appreciate that too. Follow her on social. She's very direct with her content.
I am.
No messing around. We're all honesty here.
And it's funny because people are like, I always appreciate your approach. And I'm like, I don't know how to be any other way. So that's me. Take it or leave it. But if a guy comes to me and he wants XYZ goals and he has been eating super low carb or a certain way that he likes, I will say, listen, if you're looking for this, what you're doing now is obviously not getting you there. Are you willing to change what you're doing? Because usually what I do is ask backwards from what the media says. Media says cut carbs, intermittent fast, do all these things.
Exactly.
A lot of men intermittent fast with no carbs, and they wonder why they feel awful.
That I can't do. I will not go that far. That's no.
If you enjoy it, it's fine. But I see like a lot of men can't get the calories they need in the day. So now you're narrowing the window that you're allowing yourself to eat. And so obviously you're setting yourself up for failure. So I assess what they're eating. I have them log food for about a week just to see where they fall. I don't care where it comes from. It could be KFC, whatever. I just want to see how much protein, how many carbs, how many fat. Cool. This is the goal. All right, cool. I'm going to match your nutrition to your training program. And now we start the process. And as the weeks go by, you will give me feedback as to how you're feeling, how you're looking, how you're sleeping, how you're performing, how you feel, physically, emotionally, sexually, all these things. Take that into account. Then I will decide if and when we need to make a change. And so this is a process that takes a long time.
Yeah.
People are very used to quick transformations. I'm always like, yo, come hang out with me for a year. And they're like, what? And I'm like, literally, it takes a year. Yeah. Because I don't know your background. It's like dating. So it takes at least 3 months to get to know if you're crazy or not.
Yep, that's right.
So we all know that.
Pass that first flag.
Yeah. And there's nothing TMI in my world, so I want to know everything about you. So within that 3 months, I have an idea of how your body responds to stuff, how coachable you are, because you present a certain way, but then when we get into it, it could be different, just like dating. Then it's a lot easier to be able to build calories up, which is what I usually do, because a lot of guys undereat, unless you're overweight and obese. I tend to get guys that are not necessarily super obese, but just want to lose body fat and maybe build muscle.
Yep.
So it's building calories up. And then once we get to a certain point, then we can start to go dieting again. And that's usually an easier process. Many, and women too, but many guys are like, I've tried to lose fat. I'm eating 1,800 calories, which is like the magic man number. Why can't I drop this body fat? And it's usually the love handles in the stomach, because that's the last to go on guys. But now they've driven themselves into a hole because they're training so much and eating so little that nothing is working.
Yeah.
So I build calories back up. Will they gain all this weight? Maybe a few pounds because of food volume and carbohydrates. It stabilizes. And so now your body feels safe again. It feels safe to procreate. So if you lost your erection, you'll get it back. All of these good things happen. And then we can lower calories just a little bit and you'll see a response. But that doesn't happen in a month. It takes at least, I say, give yourself at least at minimal 90 days.
Yeah, you got to be in it for the long haul. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight. Well said. And for those out there who are very interested in getting more of that in their life, how can they contact you directly to receive the coaching?
Slide in the DMs on Instagram at the Ali Gilbert, ALI. And there's also an application in my bio to work with us. So we have a great team of coaches. It's not just me. I've all trained them up over years. I hire slow, fire fast. So I have a great group of guys. So yeah, come work with us. We've got group training. We've got individual coaching. We've got one-off consultations. We have like our group training. We have a great community on Facebook that everyone busts each other's balls because that is what I require. So if you are sensitive, we might not be for you.
That's perfect. Well said. Perfectly enveloped there. We end with our 19th hole question for every interview. So when you finish, let's say, a round of golf and you get into the clubhouse, what's your favorite thing to have as like a meal and a drink after you play?
A burger.
Straight up. I mean, that's the goat. That's the goat of this question in the 4-year history of this podcast.
I love burgers. Not Impossible Burgers, not that stuff. Oh my
The real
God.
deal.
Just yes.
Topping list, what? Lettuce, tomato, onion? No?
Yeah, the usual, but sweet potato fries. Not because I think that they're healthier. I just don't like regular. I don't know why. I love sweet potato fries.
I'm in on sweet potato. What's the drink?
Water.
Fair enough. It's Allie Gilbert joining us here on the PGA Show. Allie, thanks so much for hopping
Thank
on.
you.